Hello. This is WOLFpak Live. I'm your host, Wendy Fortino. And yes, you see our guest that we had a couple weeks ago, the one and only Mel Chancey, who is an absolute legend in the whole fitness industry. I mean, for interesting reasons, which we'll we'll revisit that. But Mel was such an amazing guest, and we went and dove into his whole story, which is going to be featured in a film. Dwayne Johnson's Seven Bucks Productions is going to be putting a documentary together and a feature film, because his story is so incredible. And that is why we did not finish going through his whole story. And we're going to continue today. Maybe there will be a part 3. Who knows?
But yeah, we never know when. First of all, it's good to see you. And number 2, it's been 2 weeks already, huh?
I know.
It's just.
Have you done your Christmas shopping?
I'm going to sound like a real goon right now, and the women are going to hate me, but I don't do any of that stuff. I've been with Melissa for 15 years. Well, I'll call her Little Mel. I've been with Little Mel for 15 years. And I tell her, I told her this 15 years ago, don't make me go to the mall or to the store and buy you a bunch of stuff that you don't need or you didn't like, and you're going to take it back, and it wasted all that time. Just go buy what you want. So we never do exchanging of presents. Of course, we buy for our grandbabies and everything like that, but Melissa does that. I can't tell you the last time I've been.
We're like that too. We don't really get each other anything because it's, I mean, you go shopping together and get whatever you want, right?
100%. We don't do the hallmarks. We don't do the cards. We just go out to dinners and do our stuff together. I just call it lazy or what you want. When a lot of women hear that, when I first got with her mother was like, what do you mean he doesn't get you the cards for the Valentine's Day? And she's like, Mel's not going to do all that. I just don't have that in me.
Well, I do know that you're extremely busy dedicating your time and your energy and your resources to helping children with a special program that you do that we're going to talk about a little bit later. I don't want to start with that because really fast, I just want to do a kind of a recap of what we talked about last time. So we talked about your run as the Hells Angel president, chapter president, and your time in prison and coming out of prison. And I think that's where we left off. So can you just kind of do like a mini recap, and then we'll just dive right into the sequel?
I believe we left off talking about, we got into my years with as running the Hells Angels. We got into the years with my prison, of course, being in prison, coming home, meeting Jim Mannion, and helping him run the IFBB and NPC and stuff like that, and promoting shows. I think was where we kind of left off weeks ago, right?
Yes. So tell me a little bit about how you linked up with Jim Mannion and your connection with him and what all you do, with him and for the IFBB.
So I came home from prison in 2008, and in 2009, I attended the Junior Nationals, which was in Chicago all the time back before COVID. And then we moved to Chattanooga, Tennessee. So it was right in my hometown. My dear friend Chuck Sano, who owns USA Gym, is our chairman in Illinois. I went there to see everybody at the show. I knew everybody who's competing. I've always been a bodybuilding fan. And I knew who Jim was. And of course, I knew who Steve was, right? I knew who the fellas were, right? So I got to meet them. Jim said to Chuck, oh, that's your friend Mel. And Chuck said, yeah. And he goes, bring him over here. I'd like to meet him. So I met him and we started talking and we exchanged numbers and we just became friends from there. I didn't want to do anything. I was home. I was running the nightclubs we talked about a couple of weeks ago. I had the gig where I was running the nightclubs, and I wasn't looking to get into any kind of craziness, Wendy, because I just wanted to spend time at home now. Yeah. Traveling to me was not appealing at all. I just wanted, I was back around my daughter because I, missed her all the years in the pen. And so I was just doing all that. And me and Jim just kept communicating, became friends. And then when I moved out to Florida in 2014, that's when Jim said to me, he goes, oh, you're in a great spot of Florida. He goes, there's no shows there. The shows were from Orlando, and then there was a big gap all the way through my town. And then on the other side, it started in Fort Lauderdale. So there was this big gap in Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte where I'm at. And he said to me, you'd be great. Why don't you, I'm going to give you a sanction and, start your own show. And I said, boss, that's great. That'd be amazing. I said, but I don't know nothing about it. Who am I going to get? And I think we talked about this where I grabbed Tim Gardner, grabbed my dear friend, Tim Gardner. And I said, Tim, I need you to be my partner. 50-50, you run it. Don't ask me anything. I'm going to just bring what I bring. You do what you do. And let's hit a home run with this, And there's the Chancey Fitness page. So it just took off, Wendy. It just became something so cool with the one show, then two shows, then three. And I always say
very popular, clearly.
It's truly a blessing, and I always tell little Mel, 3 is the magic number. We're holding tight at 3 because as she sees, it's so much work, You're promoting the show year after year to year to year. So, I look in the garage in our storage unit, we already got our medals for April and August of next year. So,
oh my gosh.
I tell these guys when they first come in and they're new promoters, I tell them, listen, this ain't something that you just worked for that weekend. And then when it's done, you shut it off and worry about that show a month before the show. You'll bomb.
Yeah.
You better be in everybody's face and let them know that show is coming, and you have to get great things in the medals and the trophies and everything. And I got everything stacked up in the room here because our show's in 2 weeks, the big holiday. So So
I know there's a lot that goes into being a show promoter. I think a lot of people dream about having their own show, and especially like a lot of people that go, what's next for me in their career of bodybuilding or whatever. And a lot of people think, okay, I'm gonna do a show, my own show, the Wendy Fortino Classic or whatever. But I have talked to promoters and I've heard some nightmare stories about some of the things that go on behind the scenes. And I'll never forget, there's this one story, Whitney Jones, she's a promoter, amazing, does amazing. And she was telling me that one time, apparently all the girls in the backstage, they were using all the outlets, right, for their curling irons and their mirrors and whatever it was, and the hotel charged them like $50 per, like every time somebody plugged something in the wall, and they had like a $50,000 bill from this thing. They had no idea. And so after that, she said she learned her lesson, and it was horrible. But now they tape up in front of the outlets to make sure people don't use the outlets.
Wow. If you don't have a good venue and you're setting that venue, we're kind of small potatoes when it comes to these hotels and these venues, because somebody comes in there and they get all kinds of food catered in. A business comes in and they're like, we're going to cater $70,000 worth of food. Their first priority. Right. We're not catering no food. There's no food coming out of the shows. Yeah. We were blessed, and we have a 30,000 square foot venue right here in Punta Gorda, which is the next town over from me, 15 minutes from my house. 30,000 square foot with the stage. They put the stage up for us and everything like that, and just totally take care of me and little Mel for the shows. The parking lot's huge, and the host hotel is on the property.
That's amazing.
Everybody can come and park their car and not even get in it. And then the whole downtown Punta Gorda area is filled with restaurants, from sushi bars to steak places to bars where we all do the walk afterwards. I used to throw the official after parties, right? And people would just, for years, I was bringing 250, 300 people to these after parties.
Okay, I have a question really fast though, because you get into the promoting, and it seems like you just kind of, from the outside looking in, it seems like you figured out all these nuanced things that a lot of promoters don't really get even after years of doing it. Mm-hmm. Did you have inspiration? Did you have people that mentored you, or like, how did you take off so quickly the way that you did?
When I got Tim Gardner as my partner, I listened to him.
Oh yeah.
He did all the backside, everything. He did what Melissa does. You know what I mean? He's still my partner to this day. We talked about that. He's always going to be my partner. And then him and Mel work together. But Tim was the one who told me, he said, Mel, you're the face of the show. Mm-hmm. And when he wanted to put my face on the banner, I told him, I'm not into that, Tim. I don't want my face on the banner. And he goes, why not? And I said, it just seems superficial. I'm not that guy, as you know. I'm okay with just being Mel and laying back. Well, he talked to Hulk. Tim knows Hulk through me. And then Hulk called me up one day and he goes, man, bro, you're the face. You're the guy. You have to have your name on the your picture on the banner and stuff and all that these do. So Tim started that. Tim was the first one that took these pictures and put them on the big backdrops.
Whoa. Yeah.
And we do the drop, you know, when the athletes check in, where they come in the last stop, that, you know, after they get their height and weight and their numbers and their bag and their music and everything, the last stop is with me with the throwdown banner. They take a picture with me there, and it worked. It went crazy. I was wrong, and you know, Tim and my wife were right, you know. And so then I
do have a very like extreme look. It's great. You stand out in a crowd for sure. And it's like everybody knows there's Mel.
Yeah, they say a little bit of hair and this, and everybody's like, that's so cool. You dye that? I said, dye it. I go, this is from the sun. That's my natural color. You don't see no roots there. And I go, this is what color would this be dyeing? It's just white, right? It's like, I'm an Italian boy, so everybody turns white in my family fast, right? I was this color by the time I was.
Actually awesome. You have no pepper. It's all salt, no pepper.
Yeah. So the after parties were kind of my like forte, because I was always out. I was always running around. I knew all the different spots. When we go to the Olympias, I used to take everybody out to all the big nightclubs. I knew all my friends owned them and stuff. So when we did the after party for my own thing, it was great. It blew up. People were coming just to hang out at the after party, Wendy. Just, I mean, and you know, they say like when you're a promoter, for every
that sounds so fun.
It's fun. They say for a promoter, every person that competes, you get between 2 or 3 people, you know, in the crowd. My shows are totally different. Our April shows is nothing huge. We'll do 100, 110 hard.
Yeah.
And we'll get 700 people in the crowd.
Wow.
Because you come and hang out, and we make it such a fun.
Make it like a fun party. Okay, what's your favorite thing across the board? Like I'm sure you have a long list of what you love the most about promoting shows, but what's at the top of your list? Like what brings you the most joy, and what do you love the most?
Couple things. First and foremost, get in to talk to the competitors, being backstage with them in the morning time for the pre-judging, all the athletes check-ins. When they stop by me at the last stop to take that picture with me and stuff, I give everybody like, you know, 2-3 solid minutes of talking. Okay, see you guys in the morning, hands on with all of them. Then in the nighttime, once we get the show, Shannon Day and Tim Wilkins are my MCs.
Yeah.
Back and forth. You know, Tim's gonna be here for the holiday. He always does the holiday. He'll introduce me and Little Mel. We'll go up there. I kind of rile the crowd up, get the crowd for, you know, when you first go to a show, everybody's sitting quiet. I get the crowd going and stuff like that, pump up the athletes, and we bring them all on the stage with me. Like, wow. We have 250, 260 hard in 2 weeks. And we do this parade of elegance where they come walking on the stage and they stay up there, because some people, it's their first show and they're so scared.
Yeah.
So I tell them, listen, you're going to be up on the stage with me. I'm going to get the crowd going. Then I open it up with a prayer. Then we do the national anthem, and then we all skate off the show, and then the show starts. As soon as that's done, I go to all the sponsors. I take a picture with all the sponsors at nighttime, because now we're all dressed up, and I take a picture with everybody. And as soon as I'm done, I hit that audience and crowd, and I talk to everybody, so many people's families and you know, grandparents that are there watching their grandkids and stuff like that. And I get to talk to everybody. We have a big bar area in this convention center. You know, of course, everybody's mingling at the bar, right?
Yeah.
So, over there, and everybody comes and talk to me. And then as soon as the classes start ending, I go outside by that pop-up banner again. Yeah. And then I stay right there, because when they're coming out with all their hardware and they're taking pictures with their families and stuff, they're always looking for me to get a picture at the end. So I'm nonstop. So this is why I stopped the official after parties, because we were throwing them at 10:30, 11 o'clock. I would look at Little Mel and I'd say, I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here. And she's like, you can't leave the party. It's your party. And I'm
like,
I'm 55 now. I'm not 35. I don't have this in me. So where we have it, we walk to all these different spots. So I tell everybody, listen, there's all the bars right here on the water, on the harbor. There's bands here. This is what's going on. I'm going to see in all the different spots. So this way I'm not the actual host.
Right.
in my old rear end can cut out at 11 o'clock.
You give them time when it's the most important. I mean, all the details that you're talking about, making sure that all the sponsors feel special and making sure they feel like they're seen and appreciated. And, just those little details, that kind of stuff, having the couple minutes with all the athletes and giving them their little pep talks and stuff like that. I'm going to tell you, as an athlete, those little moments, they go such a long way. I mean, giving an athlete just a couple minutes when they're nervous and they're about to compete and they really look up to you and they, just really admire you. And then you're giving them those couple words that could go so far. It's pretty crazy.
And here's the other cool part. Me being at all the Arnolds and the Olympias and all the big shows, right? I've seen so many athletes that did my show that I've watched cross an Olympia stage.
Oh,
that is
so
cool. That is cool because they did the first show. And there's so many of them that where they're like, no, you remember us? I'm like, I sure do. They're like, we got our national qualification at your show.
Yeah. Well, that we love your shows because your winners are all going to get WOLFpak bags. So obviously they're going to be, styling in the new year.
We're so excited. Our first year with WOLFpak, thanks to you, Wendy. And we're so excited about that. Everybody loves them bags. That's my travel, we talked about this 2 weeks ago. That's been my travel bag for many years because coming to the Olympia, they give them all out to the Olympians. I'm always previous and I always get a WOLFpak bag.
You wanted the limited edition ones.
I got the limited edition ones. Big Steve grabbed it for me. I said at the last Olympia because I couldn't go because I was stuck back here with that storm.
Yeah, it's those little, those special things. Cause as a promoter, you have to be on top of it. You have to know what sponsors to ask for things and everything like that. And when someone wins something like, a backpack, which is super valuable, it's like you feel so excited about that as the winner. But then if you didn't win, it makes you have something to strive for, something to shoot for. You have, it adds to like your goal making session, right?
And I remember telling you this 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
We have this thing at the night show. We have the pizza table.
I know.
We were the ones that start that. Tim started that with me, and we do the pizza table. And it's funny because you know how the classes come first. Let's say we start. I'm just going to throw a guess out. I think we start with like women's bodybuilding at night. Starts off. They're done. They're back by the table and I'm back there and all the athletes are smelling that. And I go, hey, this is some real willpower testing. Right, you got to get on stage still. And you're looking at brownies and cookies and pizza. You're in the last, you're in the last 5 yards of it, man. Hold tight. Yeah. And it's cool because the convention center keeps bringing out warm ones. It ain't like they're getting cold pizza. They know how to do it. So everything's warm. The cookies are warm. And, of course, I sneak back there and stuff.
Yeah.
And get a cookie or something like that. So.
Coming off stage, whenever there's like a treat table or whatever, I always feel so guilty or like, you come off, you just finished dieting so hard. And then you enter this table with all these goodies and stuff like that. And I always feel like, oh my God, I'm so being judged right now. I'm like piling my plate with like all the cookies and all the pizza and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I'm totally gonna eat this. Oh no, I'll be like, I'm taking extra for my husband. I have my sisters here. I'm taking a little bit for her.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love them, know, and it never gets old, and I mean, we're at the end of the year now. I believe for nationals in a week from now, I leave for nationals next Wednesday.
Yeah.
Out there Wednesday to Sunday. I get home. Then our stuff starts, Fridays, our check-ins and everything. Yeah. And then mine's the last show of the year. And I'm like, okay, it's great. We're all like, it's me, Steve, Jim, we're all Tyler. We're all like, all right, let's put our feet up for a minute. And then the Arnold starts us back together again, rolling, so we get a couple month break.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. I have a question. When you see all these athletes on stage and, pumped up and, do you ever feel like you want to go back to it and you want to compete?
No, and for a couple of reasons, because at 55, obviously, as we get older and stuff.
You're not that old. Come on.
That's old for bodybuilding. But you know what amazes me? I see some masters that are just crazy. So
I know. My idea of it is so skewed, but anyway.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. I love it, and I see you, and I see guys my age, and they're doing these masters things, and I watch them train the way they're training. They're eating them meals. I so love coming down from 290 pounds. Most of my life, I think I was 290 pounds by the time I was 25 years old. as a young man, I was heavy, you know. I got big fast with the training and stuff because they showed me how to train. They showed me how to eat. I knew the hormone game to be safe. So I did everything pretty much perfect that I could. But starting so young, now I look back and I'm like, I just couldn't do it. I see these masters do it. I'm like, hats off to you guys, you know. And then I smell they're eating out of the Tupperware bowl. So Tupperware bowls remind me of the penitentiary because that's all you get.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. But your motivation to compete or your motivation to get into bodybuilding, it was actually based off of your desire to be like the strongest, toughest, club.
He-Man.
Right?
We talked about He-Man. My desire to start bodybuilding was that cartoon and watching that He-Man dude.
Oh yeah, I guess that was the initial trigger.
That was the initial trigger. And then once I got bit by the bodybuilding bug and the bikers showed me how to train and bodybuild, they grabbed me into that world. And I just fell in love with the bodybuilding, you know, and, of course, like we talked about in that world, you know, you better fall in love with the violence because if you don't, you're going to get run over.
Yeah.
You better know how to use these and you better know how to do whatever you need to do in that world because that world is a little bit different than just bodybuilding and eating chicken breast. I always used to say, right? So
you have people come to you like who were in that lifestyle. I'm sure you do, but maybe there's a specific example that you can think of who maybe lived that lifestyle and then they see you and how you've turned your whole life around. And then they come to you and they want to know, like, how did you do it? Like, give me some advice. And they just maybe don't even know how to get out of it.
So many. I talked to so many guys in all the different motorcycle clubs, the big 1%er clubs, from pagans to outlaws to Mongols to Hell's Angels and stuff. And they see the podcast, especially the one with John or Nick K, the ones that went crazy viral. And they'll hit me up on a DM and say, Mel, we heard about you back in the day. We probably didn't know you. Maybe they were our enemies, but we heard the stories about you. Yeah. And how did you do this? And we really know you're doing it. We could see it in you. We can hear your passion. You talk about the Lord and the way you changed your life and what you're doing. How did you do that? Most people don't do that. Like Billy Corbin, who's writing the documentary, and John Bell and Dwayne Johnson always say, like, Mel, you're the true 1%er because you got out without being killed. You got out without being a lifetime in the penitentiary and stuff like that. And I always say, well, it was by the grace of God because, I didn't want to get out of that. Remember I said, it's like a kid in Toys R Us and saying, here, run, everything's free. And I was living the life, the women, the money, the power, everything I was doing at such a young age. I showed you the picture of me when I was young and with the Hell's Angels and stuff. And I would have never got out of that lifestyle, right? It was just, I don't know if everybody could see this one.
I'm going to actually this one.
That's the way I was built and everything like that. Running the club and with money and everybody Mel always tells me, babe, your face is so red. I'm like, I just got done training. The picture was right when I got out of the gym. A friend of mine snapped that picture. I'm all faced red and everything. But it was by the grace of God. So I talked to so many guys that lived that lifestyle. Leaving their clubs or, asking me for the advice. And I always point them into the Lord because, Mel Chancey just didn't do that on his own. If I didn't go to the penitentiary for all them years, I probably was never leaving that organization. I would have been there forever,
Yeah.
There's when I was in height. I was, 40 years old there. So
you still look pretty good. Looks like almost the same physique, except for you added some ink to your body.
And, I covered up all that old stuff. That's what I did on my chest. I covered up the 1%er in the middle, my stomach, the Mr. Terror that says across my pec right there that said Mr. Terror.
Oh my gosh.
I covered all that stuff up with the cross and the wings and the praying hands.
Wow.
And so
you really covered it up.
Yeah, so, I just wanted no reminder.
What does this say right here?
So one side is my baptism. One side's my wedding date because it's first in 2011, and the other side is my baptism date. So I torture my wife and I tell everybody, I go, this is the date I got married, and this is the day I got freed out of the penitentiary from marriage. She just, I torture my wife. So
You guys have a great connection, and you work together. You do all your shows together, and you guys make such a great team. I was watching some of your content, and I could tell that you two have very complementary skill sets. You both are very detail oriented, but I could tell she has that woman touch that she adds to making sure that all the fine tuned details are all dialed in at the end, right?
To a T. And I told you 2 weeks ago, we have a thing in the house. I don't let her talk to me about the shows. I don't know how many people we have. That's a podcast we just did for the Warrior Aesthetics coming out. I don't know how many people we have. I don't let her tell me nothing about that. The WOLFpak, she dealt with the Wolf, your company and stuff like that. She does all of that. And she's so meticulous, if that's the word, just so strict and dots the I's and crosses the T's. And I love it. Right. And, on top of everything she does over here, she takes care of this whole entire house. I'm gone still, with between Core Medical and with Jim Mannion, I'm still gone 20 something weekends a year, so.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 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 Because
that's a lot.
With Core, we do a lot of traveling for Core. I do a lot of speaking at like military events. I'll be like a guest speaker, and they all want to hear the story first of all, because the military people love the motorcycle world, right? So then when it's me, they want to hear my story. I'll tell them my life journey and where I'm at now with the Lord, and they all know it seeing the podcast. And then of course it opens the door for me to tell them about Core Medical. And getting them away from the VA and getting their hormones checked and everything like that. And it's just a win-win situation. So my partner Sid keeps me busy when we have all these events. So I'm always the guest speaker at these things.
Aww. Well, speaking of your faith and your devotional team, you all are doing some amazing things. And this is not just about, getting together and praying and, spreading your positive energy, which if that's all you did, it would still be amazing. But you're really doing something with this power that you have. And let's go ahead and talk about that, because I have this video of your team. I think you said Alexis.
Yeah.
She's talking about it. So let's watch this, and then we're going to talk about this.
When you play this video for a quick second, can I 2 seconds bathroom break? I just had a coffee.
Oh, of course. Yes.
You play the video and I'm right back.
Okay, everyone, we're gonna watch this video, and then we'll bring him back.
Help provide meals to students who do not have anything for the weekend. So we deliver anytime between Wednesday and Thursday, twice a month, to families in need. We bring boxes directly to the school. All of our boxes are unmarked boxes. Inside of the boxes, we provide meals for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner options for each child in the family. Our families that have children from 1 to 4 kids will get 1 unmarked box. Families with 5 and up children, we provide them 2 boxes. We can do it once a month, you do it twice a month, depending on what works best for your school. And these boxes are unmarked so that the children don't know where they come from, and then they're able to take those on the buses without anyone questioning what they have inside of the box, or just to keep it undisclosed so that children don't have to share that information with anybody. If you have a child that is in need, we would love to partner with you and help in any way that we can. You could reach out to us at firehousechapel.org. You could click on Boxes of Hope, and all of our information is there to guide you on the steps to take so that we can partner with you. If you would like to partner financially with us, you can go onto our website at firehousechapel.org. You can click on the button up top. It says Give. There's a drop-down menu that you can choose from. It'll take you to our online giving platform, and you can click Boxes of Hope and you can give directly there. You can also send checks through the mail as long as they are labeled in the memo for Boxes of Hope. All the proceeds go directly to the program. Nothing else goes anywhere else. They are all for the food for the children, or if their needs arise for hygiene products or anything else that children will need or students need in the area, we use all those funds to take care of those kids.
Aww.
So amazing, Wendy. It's so amazing there.
I'm like, it makes me emotional just seeing that you put this together and that y'all are really doing it. Tell me about this.
Such a blessing. So that little girl right there, I say little girl, Alexis Trolio, me and her father, Pastor Steve Trolio, have been friends for 40 years now. And I watched that little girl, be born and everything, good friends with the family. Pastor Steve Trolio was praying for me all the years when I was running crazy on the streets. We met each other on a construction job when I was pouring concrete.
Oh my gosh.
Pastor Steve came out, he ran the church, but he knew my boss, and he used to come out, and my boss's name was Merrill, and Merrill would say, all right, guys, PG it today. Pastor Steve's coming out. And I'm like, what's Pastor Steve coming out for? And he goes, he wants to just work with us today and stuff. I said, he does? I said, he's a pastor. He wants to come out and work. He liked the physical part of, pouring the concrete.
Right.
I was 16 years old. So me and him just started talking. And then when I joined the club and everything, he was always praying for me, always praying, but never preaching at me, just praying for me all the time. Knew I was doing. He'd give me a page.
Well, you take your own course and learn your own lessons.
Yeah. Remember the old pager days? I'm in the day.
Oh God, yeah.
my pager would go off at like 4:00 in the morning, and I'd be like, I call him Trooper. I go, what's Trooper doing up? And I'd call him on the phone. I'd say, Trooper, you're okay? And he's like, yep, I just got woken up out of his sleep and I was praying for you. And I'm like, oh, thank you, brother. I'm okay. I'm still out though. I'm out running around, right?
Yeah.
So, they started that Boxes of Hope, I'm going to say probably 6-7 years ago right now, maybe even closer to 10, somewhere in that gap right there.
Right.
And when the John 3:16 devotional team started, people wanted some shirts, and they were like, okay, Mel, we named it they wanted the name, so I guess I could probably talk about that first. So the Terry Bollea, Hulk Hogan, my 35-year friend, gave me this book called Jesus Calling by Sarah Young.
Yeah.
And in this book, it has a devotional, and then on the bottom, it has the passages from the Bible. Sarah made a devotional from what she did from the passages in her own mind, made this great devotional.
Yeah.
So Terry gave me the book. And then about 6 months later, he calls me up on a Tuesday night. I'll never forget it. We're going to be 5 years old in April for the team. And he says, hey, Mel, did you read tomorrow morning's devotional yet? And I go, no, why would I read tomorrow mornings? It's Tuesday night. I read Wednesday mornings. And he goes, well, it's amazing. I read it. He goes, I want you to read it and video yourself reading it and put it out on your social media. And I said, well, why don't you do it, bro? You got millions and millions of followers compared to what I have. I go, why don't you do it? He goes, just like this. I want you to do it. He got all mad. He hulked up on me, right? And he goes, I want you to do it. He goes, I think it'd be a better fit for your people and stuff. So I said, okay, now I'm sophisticated. I got a pot. There's the shirts. Yeah. Now I'm sophisticated. I got the tripod and everything. But back then, I put my phone on a coffee can, turned it around, did the whole 9 yards and stuff, read the devotional from the morning, read the passages out of the Bible.
Yeah.
8-minute video, called it a day, put it up on Instagram and Facebook. I had a bunch of meetings all day long. Literally, I didn't come home. I did that at 7 a.m, and I didn't come home till like 10:30 that night. And all of a sudden I checked my DMs and I go, wait a minute. There's like 100 plus DMs. That's crazy at that time for me. Now it's normal.
Right.
5 years ago, I go, what are these DMs? And I'm looking and I'm like, wow, everybody's saying, Mel, that touched me. That spoke to me today. This was so good. This was so good. This was so good. So I called Terry up before we put our feet up. We talk a lot at nighttime. And he goes, see, I told you. And I go, yeah, you did. Well, then the next day I didn't do one. The next day I didn't do one. I did one, maybe 5-6 days later. And then everybody was like, Mel, can you do these every day? So what I do is I do a Monday through Friday. I don't do them on the weekends because 9 out of 10 times I'm somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do them when I travel. I'll do them. I'll be at the Nationals on Wednesday. I do them from my hotel rooms, but we just take a break on the weekends. So after there's all the morning ones. After a couple months of doing them, people, good morning team. People would say to me, Mel, where do you get all them cool shirts you wear? I had a company, and it was called Body by God, and they would send me these shirts with John 3:16 and a circle. Just different passages, Isaiah something on the shirt. And I said, a friend of mine has this company, and he just sends me the shirts, and I try to help him out, and put them out there for him. So the team was like, well, we want shirts. Why don't you make some John 3:16 shirts up? And, and I said, okay, what are we going to do with the money? This ain't a profitable thing that we're trying to do over here. I said, I wouldn't know what to do with the money. So I said to the team, let me pray on it. Let me pray on it and see. Praying on it. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wait a minute, Alexis and Pastor Steve, Boxes of Hope. Okay. I go, this would be great. So I called up Redcon One Aaron, dear friend of mine. I called up Aaron Singerman and I said, Aaron, can I use your shirt, guy? I know I love your Redcon One shirts, like Steve's stuff. I go, it fits perfect. Can I use your shirt, guy, too? Yeah. This is what I'm doing. And he goes, what are you doing, Mel? And I told him the story. And he goes, Ben, brother, that's amazing. And he goes, guess what? Here's his number. You give him a call and you got a $5,000 credit on me. I'm donating $5,000 for them children. And I said, God bless you, bro. What an amazing dude you are. So got the shirts made. Started off with, I think 5,000 shirts at $8.50. Got us 700-800 shirts. I'm not great at math, but got us some shirts, right? So now the team starts buying the shirts, right?
Yeah.
All the proceeds, everything goes right to the Boxes of Hope online, just like Alexis said, right? I made sure I said, I want nothing to do with the money. Little Mel ships the shirts out from our house here. We pay for the site to be up. We pay for the shirts and we pay for the shipping. Wow. So after we went through Aaron's $5,000 worth of shirts,
right, we
needed to re-up. So my wife said, what are we going to do? And I said, we're going to pay for the shirts. This is where we're going to tithe to. We're going to pay for the shirts. Well, how them shirts have been around probably 3-4 years now. It would be maybe $500 one month and maybe $600 one month. And then all of a sudden it started taking off. Hulk wore the shirt on Joe Rogan.
Hulk Hogan?
He went to Joe Rogan's podcast and he wore his John 3:16 shirt on there. And if you can pull that up, after he did that podcast, it went nuts. He talked about me on the podcast.
Yes, I found it.
Ring with the club today. He said, well, how long we've been friends. Talked about the national team and the Boxes of Hope. So now all of a sudden it brought so much awareness. Now the shirts are going and we're getting so many areas talking. He's one party's talking about the whole team. He wears the shirts. Yes. So now all of a sudden little Mel's like, babe, we got 22 orders going out tomorrow. We got 30 orders going out.
Woo, yes.
We would do 5, 6, 7 maybe a day. So now it just booms, right? So now
I love it.
The bills are getting a little bit expensive to where now they're $2,000 a month. But you know what? We're blessed. Me and little Mel can afford that. God takes care of us on the financial side. And that's just where we tie to this day. Hulk matches everything we do. So if we sell $2,000 worth of shirts a month, Terry right there matches everything that we sell. So I
love it.
So amazing. He's such a good dude, man. And I mean, my long time friend, and he's always been supportive. And I tell him all the time, it was a funny kind of joke because after the John 3:16, after the team started, we didn't have a name, and that's, I told you, I prayed on the name and I said, okay, John 3:16 devotional team, believe. And that's what the shirt says.
Oh, I love it.
I tell him all the time, I'm like, man, you created a job for me. Monday through Friday, I'm up early in the morning doing the devotional. I mean, he said, I knew. He goes, something.
But are you covering your costs at least of the shirts? I mean, no.
Pay for them.
No, that's crazy.
And my wife said to me one time, she's like, okay, babe. She's like, we're in the $2,000 a month right now that it's costing us for these shirts because we pay $850 a shirt.
So 100%, like 100%, like
every
cost and
the shipping, we pay for the shipping and we pay for the site.
Wow.
So as it grew, and now she tells me, babe,
oh my gosh,
last month we spent $2,000. And I go, okay. And she goes, what are we going to do if this thing just it comes out and gets so big? I go, well, we're going to eventually not be able to afford it. Could you, as much money as you make.
Think about it. If you have, like, let's say let's go crazy. And let's say you're making like 20 grand, 30 grand a month, or not making, but you're collecting 20 to 30 grand a month. I mean, it's still going to be such a big chunk that will be going to the Boxes of Hope for you to be able to at least cover your costs. Cause that's going to be over the top. That's going to be crazy.
There's the point we're at now. We still pay for everything. It comes out of our pocket. Like I said, last month, the shirts, $2,100.
Yeah.
So the Boxes of Hope got $2,100 from the team, $2,100 from Hulk. That's for the month. And I, me, I'm praying on everything. Yeah. And I said to little Mel, I said, listen, babe, when it gets so big and it becomes a store, because people are asking for hoodies and coffee mugs and everything you can see, I said, we're going to pass that over to Alexis. And then the store can recoup. If the store pays $8.50 for a shirt, they'll get their $8.50 back, and the profit will go to the kids. But like you said, it'll be so much more now.
Yeah.
That'll be gone. So it was great that when Hulk did that and wore that shirt and just brought so much awareness to that on Joe Rogan.
So amazing. Okay, so you've fed so many kids, like hundreds and hundreds of children. Have you had any of them like write you letters or tell you no? They just, because you know what, it's one of those things where you're so grateful, but you don't want anyone to know that you're getting the help. You know what I mean?
They don't know where it comes from because
don't want to know. Oh, that's right. You don't. I forgot about that. You don't let them know where it came from.
So every other Tuesday, when they're filling all them boxes of food in Chicago, these go out to the schools in the suburbs of Chicago, and when the team's filling them, the boxes are plain. So when them kids, when the counselors give them kids that box. None of the other kids know what it is because you know how kids can be like, oh, your family can't afford this. So the families they get checked. They just can't come in and say, we need food. Right. The Boxes of Hope checks them out, make sure that they don't, that they need it, that they don't make, enough money and they're just taking food. Right. They're all checked and everything like that. Yeah. So the teachers tell the kids, God provided this. They have no idea about me.
Which is true. Which is true.
Which is true. No. So I flew to Chicago probably, 4, 5, 6 months ago. We did a bunch that's when we made the video. There's another video on there with me and Lexus together. I wanted to pack the boxes and I took them to the schools with Pastor Steve because he's got a pickup truck. So we delivered them to the schools. So the teachers got to meet me, but none of the kids got to see us or nothing. Oh
my gosh.
Boxes ain't labeled. Nobody knows nothing except that God provided for the families.
Oh man. Oh.
It's so cool. It's so cool. It gives me chills. I love it. And then, with my core medical team and the awareness from all the military stuff, I get so many guys that come in and they're like, Mel, we just want to give a $5,000 check.
Yeah.
Give a $5,000 check. So this last week, Wendy, they fed 365 families.
Oh my gosh.
Our Box of Hope program.
That's amazing, Mel. This is literally like the best thing I've heard in a long time.
There's me in the blue shirt. If you click on that one, that's me and that's us. That's where the direct church.
It's a little loud, sorry.
Still in it.
Wow. So you guys putting the boxes together?
Putting them together, like somebody donates the boxes. I don't know if it's Sam's. There's little Mel. We wanted to be hands-on and do everything from the working part to filling them to bringing them to the schools. We went all in and everything. And these are all volunteers that are doing that. It's so amazing. The boxes get volunteered. There's all the different food. They got the little kids helping out. They got the older fellas breaking down the boxes. There's Pastor Steve's wife. It's just is so incredible. And me and Pastor Steve say all the time, only God. Who would have ever thought, finding his connection from back in the day, him being the pastor and me being the maniac, and we would have connected, and we're helping feed all these children and stuff like that. We say only God.
Oh, this is so awesome. I just can't even tell you. It just like it makes my heart smile. I just can't even. And I was trying to figure out why you wanted to tell the t-shirt story before you talked about Boxes of Hope. And I'm putting 2 and 2 together because the t-shirts was the driving force behind this concept. And what an awesome concept it is.
When they started the Boxes of Hope, it was just people from the Firehouse Chapel. That's the church, you and your husband, and you're members of the congregation making a little donation to the Boxes of Hope. They were feeding 50 families, 40 families. And then all of a sudden, through prayer and everything, I said to Pastor Steve, this is perfect. This is how we need to do this right now,
Yeah.
Then it just grew. And now I said last week, 300 and I believe 60 something or whatever the number was, families fed.
It's like it's just like such a selfless act. And it's like, it's kind of I don't want to call it a double-edged sword, but I'm going to say that because I can't think of any other way of explaining this, but you give out all this food and that you're helping so many children. And it would just be so amazing to be able to talk to one of those kids that, that's like it changed their whole world. And maybe even in a way, maybe if they were hopeless, maybe gave them hope about humanity and about, maybe what they want to do when they grow up and they have the resources to maybe help and give back. And you don't even know what kind of spiral this is doing. And it just would be so awesome to be able to just feel that impact. But I know that goes against the way that you're doing it. It's just,
we're doing it for no social media stuff. No, we made them videos just because we wanted to put that out for Boxes of Hope's website.
Well, I'm not really talking so much about like doing videos and showing everybody what it is that you're doing. I mean, like talking to the children that you're impacting and just being able to sit down and just hear how it changed. I don't, not even for anyone else to know or see or whatever, just for you to feel that energy. But it kind of goes against you doing it anonymously too.
The whole heart-grabbing thing was like, I came from a family where my dad was the provider. My mom worked too, but we came from back then, a middle-class family. I didn't want for nothing, we had everything, and I when I heard that, these children, the last meal that they're getting is from the school on Friday afternoon, and the family didn't have enough money to feed the children. And when Alexa started this, I was like, wow, that is so amazing to do it. And me and Mel would do donations and stuff like that through the years and stuff. But it wasn't until we kicked it off with the John 3:16 devotional team and then making the shirts. I mean, look at all there's so many, there's so much different food. I mean, each kid, each family, whether they got 2 kids or 3 kids, Alexis and Pastor Steve know, so they know how much to put in a box. So the box is up, and when the assembly lines gets going, they'll say, okay, this is for 3 family. This is for 3 kids. This is for 4 kids. This is for 2 kids. So you grab three bags of Oreos, 3 bags of chips, 3 bags of whatever that's going in there, might not be the most nutritious food, but guess what? They're eating.
You know what? They're going to starve, or they're going to get something with some nutrition for their bodies, And I know I see, God, I talked to you about this a little bit before, but it's like so crazy to me because there's nothing but good that comes from feeding a hungry child. And even if it's not the most nutritious food that, they could possibly have, it's like when someone is hungry, it's like you just need carbohydrates and nutrition, and you need something to fuel your body. And I mean, there's nothing but positive, nothing but good that is coming from this act of kindness. It's incredible.
And, and I have a lot of friends, and they know what we do. And they'll say to me, man, it was $2,000 you guys paid this month for all them shirts that got sold and everything. And I said, yeah. And they go, wow. And I said, listen, God knows. God gives us our daily bread, right? I have an amazing home with a pool. I go, I don't need a bigger pool. I don't need a bigger home than 2,000 square foot. We're good in this home. It's only me and Mel in here. I go, so guess what? He put that on my heart, and that's what we're doing. And until it gets too big where we can't afford it no more, then we're going to turn it over to Alexis, and then it'll become a store. And then we can get hoodies and mugs, because, 2 weeks ago, I did the podcast with you. I had the 3/4 shirt on with the John, right?
I was like, I want one.
Everybody wants one of them, but our guy from who makes the shirts,
right?
He made them up for me and stuff because I travel in them and stuff like that. So everybody's like, we want a 3/4. Where'd you get them tank tops from? And I'm like, I just made them up for me. And they're like, I'm like, listen, I can't afford to have a store here. I'd have to get 10 more jobs, right?
Ah, man.
So,
and it's like you don't even have a store. You have kind of like a giving machine that you've created.
Yeah, me and little Mel laugh. We say there's an elf in the back of the safe putting money in the ATM. There's the elf there, which we say God provides, right?
But it's all like all works in this machine if you think about it, because what you're doing, with the shirts, the Boxes for Hope, and all of that is like showing your true character, and it draws people to you. People want to be a part of or contribute to whatever it is that you're doing. So when you promote these shows and athletes are trying to figure out what show they want to compete in, I want to compete in a show, with a promoter who does this kind of stuff, who, is really helping, our world in a little pocket even. in this way. It's like you find, I guess God is helping you to find success in other areas, and that is kind of fueling whatever avenue it is that you're pursuing. So it all does kind of work its way around,
I say that all the time. The Lord's Prayer, give us today our daily bread, give us this day our daily bread. And I say, God provides for us. I tell Jim this all the time. Never did I think that I was going to be having the businesses I have now, making legal money the way I am making now. My whole life consisted. It wasn't until I came home from prison at 40 years old, I got my first credit card because I used cash for everything. And, when we went to the bank people looked at me and little Mel and they go, where you been? You don't have bad credit. You don't have good credit. You have no credit.
No credit.
Did you exist for 40 years? And I'm like, yeah, I just did everything. Right. So, I never ruined my credit because I didn't have anything.
Your birth certificate?
Yeah, nothing was in my name. Everything was all in different people's names because my vets and my cars, I diverted everything, but it's a blessing. And he puts it on my heart, and we give, and he always makes sure we're okay. We're okay in the Chancey house here. We're never wanting for nothing in here. We're good, and for me to take $2,000, $3,000 a month, whatever it gets to, because what am I going to do? Buy a bigger house, a bigger pool? We don't need anything but what we got here. This 2,000 square foot home is like Taj Mahal to me after sitting in an 8x10 for all the years. So I learned how to live in a bathroom. Really think about it. 8x10, your bathrooms. I mean, our master bathrooms. Just think of your guest bathroom. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. I do want to know something though. Okay. You do so much for so many people. I can only imagine with the energy that you have and how, your giving soul and spirit just radiates. I mean, I genuinely feel like I could pick up the phone and ask you for a favor and you would say yes without even thinking twice. Like, I just can feel the energy from you. So how does Mel take care of Mel? Like, what do you do for yourself that gets your mind and your heart so free to be able to open it to so many people?
I think when I'm not traveling and I'm home, especially being in Florida, the summer months here are just crazy hot. I got the big pool in the backyard with the lanai. I go outside, I get some, everybody's like, you're always so tan. I love the sun. I love the sun. I get that tan. I get in the pool. I get that downtime for Mel Chancey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That relaxation time. And I speak to the Lord all through the day. I tell everybody, prayer is not, you don't always have to be down on your knees or your eyes closed praying. I'm praying when I'm driving. If I'm in a meeting with somebody and it doesn't seem like it's going good and the dude might not be a believer and he starts talking a little crazy, I'll be talking from my heart to the Lord like, okay, Lord, please let this go okay and let me not revert back to road because I don't want to jump over this desk and do this to this guy.
I don't want to break another nose. I've broken enough noses in my lifetime.
I'd be a hypocrite by doing that. Please, Lord, let this, so I tell people prayer is from your heart and your relationship with the Lord. And I fellowship with him all through the day, thanking him for things and asking him, for his will to be in my life. So I get that peace because everybody tells me, they say this all the time. If I had $1 for this, I'd be on some crazy cruises. They say, you're so peaceful, Mel. When we talk to you, there's so much peace in you and stuff like that. And I said, well, that's only by the grace of God, because if you knew the old Mel, back in the day, that look was different in my eyes. There wasn't a lot of peace in my eyes because of the lifestyle we lived. And so when I see, have all my friends from back in the day, they're like, we know only by the grace of God that changed you. Chuck Sano used to say all the time, when you get patience in life, everybody's going to believe in God. He said, because when you were in the assembly line, Mel, this is what Chuck says. He goes, when you were in the assembly line, he goes, when you were in the patience line, you had no patience. So you got out and you went to go get some extra muscle line, he says, because I had no patience back in the day. Yeah. If things didn't go my way, we violently acted out, right? Like little kids. Yeah. And then when everybody's seen me everybody tells me there's like
the face.
They're like, the look in your eyes are so different from back then to now,
Yeah.
And that is pretty intense. That's a picture. John Romano, Dave Palumbo, and Brian Moss. Remember Brian Moss, old photographer Brian Moss?
Yeah.
That shoot, they did an article on me in Muscular Development called "To Hell and Back."
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's you know, I definitely take that time to you know, recharge me up, because at the shows, when I'm done with a show, you know, and I'm going from, you know, we start the check-ins on Friday, but I'm at the hotels on Thursday and I'm seeing all the athletes and boom, boom, boom. When
Yeah.
you're spiritually so just giving it all, when I'm done and when we wake up on Sunday, I feel like I fought 20 guys. You know,
I bet.
I'm just drained. I'm like, oh, I just want to, you know, just take some time. Like, you know, next week we'll be at Nationals, and you know, I'll be bopping around with Jim and Steve, and I'll be talking to everybody and taking pictures and laughing and joking. And so many people will come up and say, Mel, we're on the team. We're on the devotional team, and we love what you're doing. And it's so great to see that these days. It's just that's what gives me that energy, you know.
That's an interesting answer, because what gives you energy is doing things for other people. But no, I do catch what you said at the beginning, which is, you know, giving yourself the time, that like spiritual time alone, where you are able to really connect to, you know, your energies and, you know, your faith, you know, without anybody, so that you can make sure that your glass is full. I really truly believe in that myself, because I also feel like, you know, I love giving my energy, and I love feeling like, you know, if you walk into a room, you make the room better. You know, I always believe that I'd never want to walk into a room and be the one to bring everybody down. Right.
Mm-hmm.
But to be that way, you have to genuinely, authentically come from a place where you're able to be that way. And if you're not giving yourself that glass full of water yourself, it's like you can't genuinely be that way. You can kind of fake it, but you can't, which I'm sure we both have sometimes, just because sometimes you need it until you make it. But but you know, making sure that you're set up for success and giving people your energy.
You know, when I'm at the shows, you know, and I sit with Jim, and we sit right behind Steve and all the judging panel. We're right there. And so many athletes, you know, as a competitor, when you're on that stage, everything's dark out in that audience except me for the first few rows or whatever, right? And I've had so many competitors tell me, Mel, we seen you. We seen that your hair. We seen your face, Jim, and we focused on you because we just seen that big smile on your face, and we just felt your energy. And I go, wow, that was so amazing to hear. It just touched me to hear that. You know,
that's how I felt. Remember, I reached out to you. I think maybe it was the Olympia or something, and like, I don't know. And I remember seeing you, and I knew of you, but I saw you, and I just felt like your energy was so infectious. Like, you just have this energy about you, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but just some people are just the chosen one, you know, and you are absolutely a chosen one.
My buddy's wife said to him one time, because he said that about me, and she's like, yeah, dummy, that's the Holy Spirit in him. And we started laughing, because he goes, Mel's like our high school friend that like never kind of grew up, and he's always laughing, and he's always smiling, and he walks into a room and he lights up the room and everything. And his wife goes, yeah, Lou, that's the Holy Spirit in him. And we kind of laughed.
Like, give me some credit here. Come on. It's me too. No.
No, I love it, you know, and just love dealing with people and talking to everybody, and, you know, sharing my journey and my story, where I'm at in life and where I was. I think that's such a big inspiration to a lot of people, because, you know, people go on YouTube and they'll see the lifestyle, but they really didn't know the lifestyle back in the day, where how violent it was. And then when they get to kind of hear me talk about things in a podcast, they're like, wow, what a different guy you are, you know?
Yeah. That's why it's so good that you're sharing your story and having people feel who you truly are. Because people with all of the information out there about you, it's like you want to take charge of your narrative. You want to take charge of, you know, the perception that people have of you, because if all they have is, you know, all these things that they find and they read about you, it's like when you speak from your heart and you're able to share it directly from yourself, I think there's no denying the fact that, you know, you are exactly who you say you are and exactly who you are, you know, striving to be. There's no way anybody can skew that any kind of way, you know?
Yeah. It's hard to, like I said, if this was an act, and I'm home since 2008. That's a lot of years of being home, right? I would be the number one actor. Dwayne, I'd be kicking Dwayne out of his spot as the number one Hollywood actor and doing
well,
it.
Hey, you might be doing that soon. You never know.
So I got this other funny thing that I talk about all the time. I told Dwayne and Billy and John and all them guys, I don't want nothing to do with being in everything. I had a little part in Oz, as you've seen, the HBO series Oz. I was in that. I never got bit by the acting bug. So John's always like, okay, he goes, I know I'm playing you in the scripted series that's coming out. He goes, but we got to make something. You got to have like a walk-on part where you do something in this series. And I said, if it's a one-time deal, like if it's, I come in and I'm another guy in another club or something, and you kill me off. I go, but it can't be a reoccurring role. I go, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Can I just address something? I don't know if I want to call it an elephant in the room, but I will say, hang on. I'm going to pull this up first, and then I'm going to ask you the question. Now, it's clear that you two don't resemble each other at all.
Right.
You don't have much of a resemblance. So how is that? That's interesting, because I have seen movies where the actor who portrayed the actual person, if it's based on a true story, did such a great job of portraying the character they were, acting on. And I've seen other movies where the actor looked identical to the person they were portraying, but they sucked at actually portraying them in the role, right? So I think, that could be the case. But tell me a little bit about this. Is this something you guys have talked about, laughed about?
So John's a method actor, which means he studies the person and he becomes that person. I don't know if you've seen We Own the City, where he played that dirty cop from Baltimore. Yeah. He just gets into it. And what he does is when he goes home, he stays in the character. So his wife and kids have to hear him in that total character, because he stays into it. He's filming The Punisher. He's a method actor. So he's so into that. And then we got this funny thing when John got picked to play me and everything like that. John was so into it. He goes, okay, I'm going to come when the time is right. I'm going to live by you for about 4 months, get to be studying you. You're going to train me. Little Mel's going to feed me. I'm going to put a bunch of size on. So Dwayne tells him one time, we're on a Zoom video call like this. And Dwayne tells him, hey, John, we put 20 pounds of muscle on you, because he's lean,
Yeah.
We put 20 pounds of muscle on you, and the camera angles and stuff. And, I'm 5'10", John's 6 foot. He goes, you're going to look huge on TV. And John goes, man, screw that. He goes, I'm going for it all. I want all the muscle I can get. And Dwayne goes, well, you're not going to be 290 pounds, bro. And I go, yeah, and we can't kill you. We don't want to kill you. Getting ready, right?
That's a really committed actor right there.
He's so good at what he does. So, people say that all the time. He looks.
Can't wait to see it.
I go, it's not going to be, his name in the thing ain't going to be Mel Chancey.
Right.
The motorcycle club is not going to be called the Hells Angels. It's going to be
the character.
The character. So whatever his name is and stuff, he's going to play it from my role and stuff. And I asked him one day, I said, what are you most excited about? Because you always told me you're so excited about, because John's never trained. He's a good boxer. He's never really trained bodybuilding.
He's not going to get the hair and everything like yours.
He goes like this. He goes, I can't wait to get your accent. And I go, wow, I didn't know I had an accent. He goes, you have an accent. And he
do.
He goes, I can't wait to get. We've seen him in parts where he had this mustache before. He's had different things. He goes, but I can't wait to do it. So we always talk about the funnest part of this is going to be is when he comes and lives here and he's getting me and playing me. And he's going to.
How crazy is that going to be? You're going to have him in your house studying you. That's interesting.
Training them. And then I got the gym in my garage, so I'll train him here. Little Mel could feed him. We can bulk him up. And, I get to spend a lot of time with him now anyways. As I told you the story, he's my partner's brother-in-law. And we get to spend a lot of time together, me and him. So it's so great that we get to do that, But that's the exciting part, that we get to he gets to do that whole thing with me,
First of all, this is extremely exciting. Okay. We haven't gotten, the movie hasn't come out yet. Well, there's two coming out. There's the documentary, and then there's the feature movie,
which we call the scripted, where he's playing me.
Right. Yes.
There's me and him together at a wedding at Sid's wedding. My partner, his brother-in-law, we're on the beaches there. So whatever comes first, whether it's the documentary or the scripted, everything's getting worked on right now. Yeah. So we're just leaving it up to wherever, John's working with all the writers. Of course, Dwayne being with his hand in it, John being an A-list actor. They got Taylor Sheridan on the list.
Wow.
That's Yellowstone guy, of course, and all his Paramount Plus stuff is amazing. A guy by the name of Elgin, he wrote the Mayans. So there's like 8 or 9 different writers that they have that they spoke to already that John's going to be kind of interviewing them and stuff. He's the actor, so he's going to pick whoever he thinks is the best fit.
This is so exciting. I can't wait.
I'm excited. Yeah.
Well, obviously, you're going to have to keep me posted. And obviously, we're going to have you back to talk about this. I mean, I'm assuming that you're willing to, because I'm like super into this now. This is so exciting. Gosh, Mel, you're doing so many things, between the movie that's coming out about your amazing story, your boxes of hope, your t-shirts, your shows that you're promoting, just doing so many things, your regular devotionals and bringing people into your energy and spreading your love and your heart. It's just like, it's so much. And it's so awesome that it's you doing all this stuff. And I can't say enough about how amazing I think that you are.
Thank you. And I say this all the time, guys, I'm 55 and guys start thinking about their retirement somewhere down the line and stuff. And I said, well, since I waited till I was 40 to get my first legal job, I'm going to be having to work till I'm 90. So I might as well enjoy it. I might as well enjoy the journey with it,
Yes. But they say if you love what you do, you don't work a day of your life, right?
I love it. So
there you go.
Everything that's coming up and so excited.
It's a trite phrase, but it's so true.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Well, my goodness, Mel, I swear I could talk to you forever. And
we killed an hour.
I know we killed an hour, killed it. But anyway, thank you again so much. I'm going to let you have the final word. Say whatever you want to, all of your friends and your fans and your loved ones and just go for it. You get the last.
Thank everybody for the support. I love the support and the inspiration that comes my way from that, like where it tells us in the Bible, iron sharpens iron, iron sharpening iron. And when people tell me all the time, you're so inspiring with the morning devotionals and everything. And when they write me them DMs, I tell them, you are inspiring to me just by giving me this DM and telling me that that's what I'm doing for you. And that's the true meaning of iron sharpening iron. We're here for one another, right? We're all God's children. He created us equal. Whether somebody's in the mansions or they're in rock bottom. I haven't been in the mansions yet. I'm waiting until I get home to be in that mansion. But I've been in the rock bottoms. You know what I mean? And I know what it's like to be there. And I just love being there and helping people out. I always say this. I'll end with this.
Okay.
I'll be the first one to get down on my knees and throw my arm into that rock bottom ditch, we call it, into that ditch and say, come on, brother, come on, sister, I got you right here. But it's a fine line. They're going to drag you down or you're going to pull them up.
Oh, yeah.
It's a fine line. And if I'm helping somebody and I'm helping them and stuff and they ain't trying to help themselves, I got to cut. You got to know inside when you got to say, hey, you're going to have to, because it's a fine line if they're going to pull me in. I'm like a recovering alcoholic, I say. That's why I don't ride a motorcycle. That's why I don't go to strip clubs. Don't do anything I used to do because I don't have willpower for that.
I can relate to that.
I'm helping somebody out, and next thing I know, I'm in a strip club, and here I'm divorced and running around and throwing a patch back on and right back into my old ways. So it's that fine line, but I'll be that first guy to do it. I love helping everybody out, and I love the inspiration that we share with one another. Yes,
that's always whenever someone is so giving, that's the thing that I worry about the most. But I never worry about you. You have it handled. So I know you are good. You are good to go. Thank you so much, Mel.
Thank you, Wendy. I love this. This was amazing. I will keep you posted on everything. I know we'll be talking and getting together, and I'm sure I will be getting out there soon, maybe next year, to see you and the whole team, and Wendy and Jake and the whole crew. I'd love to come and take the tour of everything you guys got going on, right?
Oh my gosh. Well, if anybody knows that we have our Make Your Mark series where we're featuring the most amazing, incredible influencers in past and current generations. And Mel is absolutely going to be a part of it at some point when we get him out here. So stay tuned for that. But again, thank you so much. And everybody watching, thank you all so much. And we will see you later.
God bless.